The legislature, they took a vacation. They're gone for a couple of weeks now, but they left a lot of work for her to do. There's still more work to do with the budget before they can wrap up this year. And the Democratic governor is scheduled to take actions on nearly 60 bills that passed out of the Republican-controlled legislature. One of those bills is expected to be signed is Preston's law, but she's also expected to break out the old veto stamp. And here's a look at some of the more noteworthy bills that are on the governor's desk.
Last week, the legislature passed House Bill 2611, known as Preston's Law. The proposal comes 2 years after members of a teenage gang known as the Gilbert Goons were charged with beating Preston Lord to death at a Halloween party. The bill boosts the punishment for gang-style attacks from a misdemeanor to a much harsher Class 4 felony. Sticking with law enforcement, Governor Hobbs is also expected to sign a major funding bill for Maricopa County jails. Senate Bill 1144 would let county voters decide on a sales tax extension that pays for jail maintenance and construction. Voters originally passed the tax back in the 1990s, which is set to expire unless it gets renewed next year. Last year, the tax nearly raised $300 million. But the governor is not expected to sign everything. Look for her to break out the veto stamp. The legislature recently passed several proposals Hobbs had previously rejected, so there's no reason to think she's changed her mind on Senate Bills 1002 and 1003 that restrict the pronouns and bathrooms transgender students can use on campus. The same thing can be said about Senate Bill 1014. The bill would legalize gun silencers. The governor vetoed a version of this bill in each of the past 2 years. Hobbs will likely use this to add to her record number of vetoes.
And over the past 3 years, Hobbs has vetoed over 300 bills, which is more than the previous two governors combined. Of course, Governor Brewer and Ducey were Republicans working with a Republican-controlled legislature at the time. And I did just get some word, guys, from the governor's spokesperson. The office is telling me that the governor, in fact, did sign Preston's law into law. So that will be the new legislation, new law moving forward here into the new year.
You've been refreshing your email because we're waiting to get the fine print on all those other ones. 60 bills. Do we know the over/under on how many she's going to veto, or just the ones that you mentioned there?
Well, look to me, and I can't comment on every one of those bills, but like it was mentioned in the package here, what's passed is prologue. Some of the bills that they've sent to her this year have been vetoed in previous years, and I'm seeing kind of a lot of that stuff if it's not the same legislation, it's adjacent to that. So I'm thinking that she's going to be adding to that record number of vetoes here. We just got a list. We'll have to start going through that, and we'll keep everybody up to date with the latest of what we learned.
Yeah, just a couple seconds ago, that email came in on the veto list and the signature list. Real quick, when does the rest of the legislature come back? Because they still have a budget to hammer out.
Yeah, they get a couple of weeks. One of the things is I think they're trying to stall, trying to hold off and get the latest revenue projections because the economy has been a bit up and down lately because of some of the actions taken by President Trump with his tariffs and whatnot. So they're trying to wait and see where they think the economy is going to be in the coming year. Because when you start balancing for the state, you're balancing on what you think the kind of money you're going to be is coming into the state. So right now it's a little bit in flux. So that's the big thing they're still working on is the budget, and we'll probably get something like that in June.
Okay, thanks, Dennis.